Hi, ladies, gentlemen. Nice to see all of you. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Brenda Yong, award-winning financial coach by Malaysian Global Chamber of Commerce and also a licensed financial advisor by Bank Negara Securities Commission with UOB Canberra Advisor. I'd like to introduce to you my colleague, Serene here, and Serene will be taking us through a whole session in one of our presentation later. Yeah, she'll be joining us shortly in about 5, 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, she's a CTO, Chief Transformation Officer, or one of my organization called Well of Life Women. Okay, we will welcome her later. Yeah. Okay, without further ado, let me take you through my story. So today, nice having all of you here in this session with me. Disclaimer, standard procedures. Okay. Why do we do business? This line is talking about lifestyle. We do business because we want to have passion, we want to have freedom, we have money and wealth, we want financial freedom, and we want to have meeting a needs of the marketplace and also testing our caliber, take ourselves to the next level, right? That's basically why we do business. There's some of those many reasons why we do business. Well, this section is about lifestyle, finance, and so on. Let me take you through a little bit further. I know COVID, today I'm recording this session during the preparation for maybe the third or the fourth lockdown, the total 14 days lockdown. So therefore, I like to take you through my story to give you some inspiration. I was informed by the organizer to give some inspiration and also some challenge your mindset and to give you some exploration moving forward. So allow me to this 10, 15 minutes to share a little bit about my story. Yeah, I know now with this COVID situation, we are depressed, we're stay at home, and oh my gosh, it's going through another lockdown. What is my future? How's my finance? And so on and so forth. So therefore, I like to take you through my story to bring you some hope and bring you some inspiration and aspiration to move forward and propel further in life. So right now, in sitting in this session, you'll be thinking, what should I do? Am I going to be in a fear zone? Am I going to be in a learning zone? Or am I going to be in a growth zone? So I want to congratulate every one of you who are in this section. You're definitely moving between fear zone and learning zone. I'm talking about myself. Now, this is the third, fourth lockdown is impacting us. However, I want to encourage myself to move from a fierce condition to a learning zone. As I share with you, I'm learning myself and learning together with you and my colleagues and also with the organizers. How do we move forward in life? So therefore, intentionally, I want to congratulate all of you moving from fear zone into learning zone. By the fact that you're here with us in this recording, you're definitely entering a zone of learning, and in due time, propel forward, find your vision, and move to the growth zone. Growth zone. Let me tell you my story. My mom was diagnosed with cancer. So her medical card and her living cash in paying for medical bills and buying all those nutrition is actually from me as a daughter. Why is that so? Because nobody taught me what's financial planning. So therefore, I came to financial planning industry was because my mom was diagnosed with cancer. I was selling house, selling car, and pawning the gold and whatsoever I can do to help her to walk through these trying times. That's my mom, and that is my second daughter, Charlene. So therefore, I started as a financial advisor, not because I want to, because I was a victim of a situation where I was not prepared, not planned in terms of challenging times, during those 18, 20 years ago. But today, many families are not prepared for such challenge as well. Now, then let me take you a little bit forward, maybe 10, 15 years later. This daughter of mine, the one that you saw just now, Charlene, she had an explosion and she became a total char siu, the chicken rice char siu, all body burnt. And not only that, she was in an ICU for 26 days, and me and my husband was actually looking after her, crying with her, encouraging her in and out hospital ICU for 26 days. Yeah. That's not the only story. Let me take you another few minutes or few episodes further. My late husband that was with me during that particular section just suddenly died of a sudden heart attack 3 months, 4 months after the major explosion. And with this explosion, Charlene just, recuperating at home while she was resting. My late husband just said, "Darling, my heart is painful. Rush me to the hospital, bring a medical car." Now, once he reached the hospital and he said, "Make them work faster." And before I can get them work faster, he was ushered into the operation room. And then when I watched those drama, when people say, "Hey, they suddenly died, they hit their heart," right? I felt that and I felt, wow, are you sure you are dead? I slept slapped him twice. I shook him, saying, "You've got 3 children to take care and you can't leave me alone." And then I went into, oh my gosh, it was a sudden gush of pain. Those drama things are real, ladies and gentlemen. Those drama is not fake. Those are real because I experienced it for the first time. Wow, it really hurts your heart. And that was, haven't even breathed through from that drama, which is my daughter just, still red and shiny and kind of thing, came out of hospital. And then I have to welcome and prepare my husband's departure to heaven. So it really, it's really, wow, I don't know what to say. When you have to cry, but the tears can't come out, you have to run this funeral, you go in again, you want to come out again, that kind of concoction of you can't feel, or you feel too much that you don't know how to have the space to cry it out in that kind of gap. That is only episode 2. Let me take you further. Then my son suddenly said, "Mommy, I've got this thing that's very painful. It looks like a golf ball." So we took him to the hospital. It went very big. This is the unswollen version. The swollen was a big golf ball here, and the doctor said, "I think you need to operate him immediately. It doesn't look good, and you have to prepare for whatever worst condition." My heart was shaken to the core, and said, "Okay, this is my son's medical card. And this is mine in case I fall off, because husband's not around, in-laws are old, children are still young. What am I going to do?" So with that, we have to rush in for immediate surgery, both for the eyeball, and also for his arms. It's like a lot of pus that's yellow, there's germs, and so on. So I was so shocked, and he was hospital for I think a week or so. Panic attacks every 2 hours or every 4 hours. I can't drive halfway through, I get dizzy and I cannot breathe, so I have to stop the car. So I understand what is anxiety attack and what is panic attack, which is every 2 hours, every 4 hours. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't leave, I couldn't process the emotion. Like oppressed from all over, from finance to emotion to everything, all at the same time. So it's like, that's really something. Well, that is only episode 2. Let me take you further. Now, I may be laughing, but I think it's a lot of pain, a lot of tears. Then, because of the so traumatic things happen, I may look young because of digital virtual quality. I've got a beautiful lipstick from the virtual makeup, right? But let me tell you the real story behind all these things. My hair turned white overnight. Why? Because so many things happened within that short period of time. I couldn't cope. On top of that, I was bleeding. I was bleeding almost, I would say, over the last few years, was 30 plus liters of blood. Every month bleeding, it was huge blood outflow, and I have to infuse blood every few months. So with this situation, it was so dramatic that I have to say, what can I do? What can I do? I need to really rely on my Father in heaven. I'm a Christian woman, to say, there's no hope except looking up to the Father in heaven. So from this dramatic situation, I said, okay, I'm going to lay my life on this operating table on February 14, Valentine's Day, and say, Lord, if I can have this chance to pick up again, I'll be a person that will be a blessing, that will love those who are around. So if you can see on your screen, let me remove the screen a bit. This is my youngest daughter. Her name is Ashley. During this time, my daughter was sitting on the other side, saying, "Mommy, I cannot breathe, cannot breathe." So we were both hospitalized. I was on the right bed and she was on the left bed. I just found out that hospital allowed daughter and mother to hospital at the same time, even though she's a pediatrician patient. So we were in the same room, right and left. So I look at my little daughter. That time she couldn't breathe with all the gadgets and all the tubes. I was same in the same tubes, and I said, "Is there anything lower than this?" Tears roll out. Tears roll in and tears roll out. So is there anything lower than this? Okay, by the way, these are real tears. So I said, okay, I need to pick up myself again. Why? Because there are many people who are worse than I am, and I need to rise up and be a blessing and rise up to help those who really in need. And this overcoming power, I have the victors that I'm able to experience. I want it to be a blessing to those who are going through tough time now, especially in COVID. If things are tough, don't worry. There are family and friends, and even myself and my team will be here to serve you and to encourage you and to journey alongside with you. Okay, so that's the moment I spoke to myself. Is there anything lower than this when I have to see my daughter full of things everywhere, and I And also with the string, I can't move. I was in pain. I was infusing blood, and she was there on the other side. In-laws are old. They are in Serene. They couldn't come in to help. So that's the time that is really, really challenging. I mean, and you don't have no one to turn to. I'm thankful I have help, a divine help to help me to walk through this time. Now, to move that further, I recovered. You can see my daughter, Charlene, has recovered. You can't tell she has gone through a severe explosion, the one on the left-hand side. Okay, let me tell you part two of my story. Yeah, this is the downtime. Yeah, when there is low, there is always high. When there is brokenness, there is always restoration. Let me encourage you. Uh, this part is not to show off my story, but to share with you there is hope at the end of the tunnel. Let's journey with me another 5-10 minutes to share with you the story of inspiration. May you be blessed, may you be encouraged, and may you take some pointers from this time forward. I'm thankful that I get to share my whole story in TEDx. If you can, this is the YouTube. You can Google TEDx Brenda Yong for managing life like a dynasty. So this is the YouTube. You can have the whole exposition of my whole transformation and storyline from there. Yeah. So let me take you through a little further. This is my profile. You can get this slides from the organizer. Please have this slide and study and understand some of the pointers they're giving to you, and take it as a good handles and use it for your life for a pickup point. So I am an author for many, many books, and one of the books that's going to be launched very soon in the next 2-3 weeks, mid-June 2021, will be Managing Finance in Challenging Times. And the book Blue, Serene will be telling you more about this book later. And I've also written a program called the Well of Life, and this Well of Life program has taught 24,000 people in Asia, is to lift them up in times of challenges and also give them pointers and skills how to build their wealth in Malaysia and also offshore and international as well. So each color represents a different group. The pink color represents the woman, and I'm sure my colleague, our CTO, Chief Transformation Officer, will be taking you through a little bit more on the Wealth of Life woman, which is today major topic. Does not mean the men are forgotten. So the dark blue is for the men, the orange is for the youth, the purple are for the dynasty. That's one surname. How do you manage your finance in one particular surname? You know, the Yong family, the Tan family. Of course, for those of you who are professional building a business, you can explore the blue, and for the green is actually for the business owner. So my storyline is that from brokenness, I want to share the transformation. I monetize my pain to make this pain to be a blessing to others, to shed light. When light shines, the darkness disappears. So we need to type on the time of self-reflection to find out where is my strength, where do I stand, and let this light shine forth. And when your light, every one of you, your light shine forth, you will disperse darkness. And whatever COVID situation, you have to move on, because this light of glory, the light of your life, will begin to shine forth in stature. Yeah, a little bit more. And not only that, I from that brokenness of life, I have actually rebounded with a new breakthrough where I was awarded by Malaysian Global Chamber of Commerce, the Malaysian most prestigious financial advisor award for the industry. So I'm very honored to share with you, when there is challenges, when you go to the rock bottom, there's nothing more to go than to go up. You know, if COVID is challenging you, there's nothing more to be afraid of, because when you go down, the next point is going up, you know, to rebound it to the next level. So managing finance in challenging times will be out very soon, maybe mid-June. And these two books is available. And now I would like to invite my colleague, Serene, to come and talk about the okay, and also this Well of Life program, Well of Life Women program, has taken it so far. Taken it so far that I have done programs with wellness spa, empower them about finance, allow them to earn more money, to have play money, to have lifestyle, to allow inner beauty to come out. So this part of living your life, every case, every station they go in is actually empowering life. Okay, thank you for the short break because of the technical error, even though it's live recorded, but never mind, it's okay. Then you cut it a short break to digest what you have learned. So these are some of our students, our colleagues who are teaching the program. We also developed a well-life board game for professional and for children as well. Not only that, my life has transformed to a level, not only that I understand the cry of the poor, I also understand the cry of the community. So I have invested in a company called Abundance Chicken, and we have given almost 1,000 plus chicken during this COVID, this 1 year, to the community. Why am I sharing that? Is that, you know, in times of challenges, when you pick up yourself, you can monetize your pain and monetize your passion, not only for yourself, but also for your family, for your loved ones, for the city, and also for the community. So without further ado, I'd like to invite my colleague, Serene, to come forth and to share about herself, and also to take about a little bit further. Yeah, she will be getting ready for her session. So I take you through a little bit more called the wealth mindset. Now, wealth mindset is talking about your neural finance. How does your brain function? So our brain has a very powerful understanding that when we begin to create wealth through the mind actually attract a lot of wealth opportunities. This is called neurofinance. So our brain has different waves. We have gamma, beta, alpha, theta, and delta brainwave. When we sleep, we is on delta mode. But when we are recreating wealth, wealth building starts from the mind. So when we create wealth through the mind, we are actually resting on the alpha mode. Alpha mode is where the heart is very close to the heart. When your mind beats the very same rhythm with your heart, that's where you are in alpha mode. And alpha mode is usually before you go to sleep and when you wake up. Now, this is the alpha mode. So wealth creation starts from the alpha. So I hope that you will be able to learn something today, that wealth creation starts from the mind, and it starts with a state of being where your heart and your mind are synchronization, and they're syncing with this wave called the alpha wave. Okay, so that's where we are. So I like to invite my colleague Serene to come forth. The stage is yours, Serene. Yeah, she's getting ready to come in. Yeah. Okay, over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Serene Chaw, and I am the Chief Transformation Officer for Wealth of Life Women. I will be sharing with you about the wealth building roadmap for women, right? But first, let me quickly introduce myself. Yeah, so Brenda, if you can move to the next slide. All right, so I am an accountant by training, and I practiced it when I started my career, much earlier on. And then I switched over to human resources, all right, of which I am now practicing this particular, area or this field called talent management, all right, where it is to identify high potential leaders and also accelerate their growth. Yeah, and of course, in this season of my life, I'm now the CTO of Wealth of Life Women. I'm also a life and career coach, and my long-term aspiration is to be a patron to the creative arts, right? So, like Brenda, I also have my story of overcoming, right? So, in my earlier, in my earlier life, right, in my 20s, I recovered from clinical depression that lasted for 9 years, without medication and naturally, just by having mentors and people walk together with me, right? And then right after that recovery, my family fell into a financial crisis, lasted 10 years. And and that 10 years ended sometime last year. So this is pretty recent, But of course, we overcame it as a family. We learn very important lessons in managing debts and making wise financial decisions. And in the midst of all these prolonged challenges in my life, I went on a journey of discovering my identity, my life purpose, and of course, having that courage to dream again. And this was how Project First Time was birthed in 2012. yeah, where it is a lifetime of practice of doing new things for the first time every day in my life. Yeah, and so this gave me a very fresh perspective of life, gave me something to look forward to, and the hope that the best is yet to come, right? And which is why my involvement in Wealth of Life Women is so meaningful to me. Yeah, Brenda and I collaborate very closely in projects and programs that help women discover who they are, their life purpose, and how they can get there, especially through wise financial or wealth management. And ultimately, what we want to see is for women to experience real breakthroughs and transformation in their lives. All right. So if we can go move into talking about wealth building roadmap for women. So during challenging times, especially now, it is even more important to ensure that our wealth building activities grow stronger, yeah, thriving and flourishing, right? So that's why it's important for us to reflect on where are we now in our wealth building journey and what are our goals and how can we make the most out of the challenging times. This is a sneak peek of a book, yeah, that will be launching in September, where it helps women to understand the various approaches we women use to manage our finances and to reach our wealth goals. And also, how do we build that roadmap towards financial abundance? So, here in Wealth of Life, we view wealth not just about being rich. Yeah, ultimately, we want our lives to be flourishing and overflowing, that financial abundance that we talk about, yeah, in all aspects of our lives. And of course, with that, then we give back to the world, right? So that's our ultimate goal. So if we can move on to the next slide. All right, this is the interesting part, right? So in the book, we describe women's approach to wealth building using 11 interesting analogies. So you can see it on the screen, right? There are 11 types, all right, or approaches that women build wealth. Every one of these has its distinct personalities and wealth goals, right? And of course, each also has its pros and cons, right? When you look through the labels, you may be able to identify with some of this. Yeah, and I will talk through some of the most common ones. And for the rest, you can actually read it when our book comes out later in September. All right, so you see a lot of very interesting labels here and all of that. I will go through the most common ones. So here we go. Here we go. Slow and prudent. All right. So the majority of people actually take one of these stance. All right. And this is a woman who appreciates the value of working hard. Yeah, she's cautious with money. She always has a stash in case of emergency. She saves up every month. Yeah, and she's careful with her daily expenditures. She may lack some awareness in different types of investments. Yeah, generally low risk appetite, and her portfolio consists of mainly FDs, investments that give steady returns and locked down by time. And also, she trusts in the reliability of property investments. Right? She's someone who's very patient to wait for her money to grow, and she takes a long-term view for sure. So some of the advice that we give, right, in encountering these women is that, hey, they need to learn to familiarize with other types of investments, yeah, especially those that give better returns in 6 to 12 months, yeah, and not bonded for a long time. So this can be the emergency fund that she needs, right? And for anything else longer than 12 months, she can put her money into investments with much higher yields, right? Property can still be part of the list, but we also know that markets are not resistant to crashing. So she can think about buying art pieces, antiques, jewelry, even designer items that will appreciate through time, right? And of course, as she works hard to accumulate wealth and to provide for her family, she must remember to take time out to pamper and reward herself. Yeah, a good meal, a spa, exercise, a time to do nothing, or even time to spend quality time with family, right? So some of us here may also well identify with the sacrificial daughter, mother, and wife, right? So definitely for this woman, family comes first. All right. She is likely to be in her 30s or 40s. All right. With a husband, managing young children, parents, and grandparents. all right? She makes sure that all her loved ones have all the necessities and some luxury if she can afford it, all right? So what we always say to this woman is that, she has to make sure that she has her own finances and savings, right? That she manages it well as well. She must know where her money is and all of that. And with her husband, right, she should prepare in case, what if he passes on much earlier? And especially if he is the sole breadwinner, right? And she needs to make sure that money is allocated for her children's education, medical bills, home loans, etc. All right. She definitely needs to look after herself, having self-care, and importantly, since she has been so sacrificial, how is she discovering her dreams and her interests where she could have neglected them when she put her family's interests above hers, right? Of course, she plays a very important role in her children's life, yeah? Laying solid values and foundation, all right? And of course, the value of money is an education that is priceless, that she can impart to her children. Right? They can also do savings together, right? The children can actually do joint savings together with them and also help pay for their own education and their first home, right? So moving on, what is the other one that you probably can identify with is the competitive 21st century woman, all right? She's the smart and competitive woman, modern 21st century, confident, well-networked, well-traveled, social media savvy, very knowledgeable in financial investments, diversifies very well. She knows exactly what is her ultimate financial destination and how to get there. But what is it that she needs then? Right, you may ask. Well, with traveling around and working so hard, she may not have the time to monitor her financial portfolios, right? She needs a trusted financial advisor whom she trusts, all right? That she can expand her investment knowledge, seek advice, and keep her investments on track. So, and also one who will help her review her portfolio on a half yearly or yearly basis, right? And of course, she needs to strike a balanced work life. Yeah, not just focusing on making money or letting work consume her life, but also takes care of her well-being. Right. Let's try another one. The stylish and flamboyant woman. Okay. How many of you know such woman? Right. So this is someone where when she walks into a room, right, you definitely will notice her. All right, she don't need to say anything. She has the designer wear, very tasteful bling bling. She travels in luxury. She wine and dine in Michelin star restaurants, and her lifetime bucket list may also be quite luxurious. So the questions are, right, how will she be able to maintain and sustain her lifestyle in the long run? Yeah, some may be corporate high flyers. However, others may just be earning moderately, yeah, but wanting a luxurious lifestyle. And the other question is, what happens when her bucket list is filled? What does she look forward to, and what are her ultimate life goals? Right? She may need the help of a life coach, financial advisor to help her discover her life purpose and manage her finances in such a way to give her life more meaning and satisfaction, right? Importantly as well, because she spends money and all this luxurious stuff, right? She must learn to make wise decisions that will help her manage her debts and move quicker towards financial freedom. So for the rest, you can read it on your own. In conclusion, whichever the 11 analogies you find yourself fitting into, it is important to understand your own approach in wealth building as a woman, right? And of course, learn effective and practical wealth building approaches that will help you in both the good times and the bad times, right? So now, let's look at another thing, right? Where we talk about phases in wealth building, right? Which is applicable to everyone. Yeah. So whichever you fit in the 11 analogies, this is applicable to you, right? So we first talk about financial stability, right? Everyone wants to achieve financial stability, isn't it? Yeah? Where you have stable income sources to fully cover your monthly expenses, such as home loans, car loans, rental expenses, credit card bills, etc. And then you have income sources, yeah, from active income through your employment, your business income, your passion income, yeah, which is income from doing what you love, yeah, even if there's no money in it, right? So with all of these sources, yeah, you might have some savings in the end, but the point is being able to pay all your monthly fixed commitments. Yeah, and of course, when you stop working, the active income stops too. Yeah, here is where you trade your time for money. All right. The next phase is financial independence, right? Where the stable income sources comes from passive income. Yeah, some examples are rental income, right? Returns or interest earned from your investments or work, which can have a significant compounding effect, right? Some can be residual income too, such as royalties from books written or music produced, so that the money keeps coming in long after your initial efforts. Here, you make your money work very hard, yeah, whilst you are sleeping, and the money keep coming in without you having to put in active effort. However, you are not truly free yet. So, which brings us to what it means to be financially free. And that's the third one. That's where you continuously earn passive income to cover all your monthly expenses and you are debt free. So that's the good news, all right? Here, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want it. And money is truly no longer a concern. So the key is sustainability in the long run, right? So the questions that you ask is, will you be able to sustain that passive income easily and remain debt free? How do you occupy your time, right? If you don't need to work anymore here, what sort of work, so to speak, work in inverted commas, will you be doing which gives you the most meaning and satisfaction in life, right? These are some of the questions as well when we reach financial freedom. And the last phase, which is the most exciting phase, is financial abundance. You have more than what you need and debt free. Your financial basket is overflowing, right? Remember, we talked about financial abundance just now. So with this abundance, you can give freely and generously in all aspects of your life, not just money, right? Remember, when we talk about wealth of life, it's not just money. So we talk about time, efforts, energy, our passions. Where do we spend them? Where do we give them away? And at this point, the purpose and meaning of your life will be very important to you because you no longer focus on the money, but on the deeper things in life, right? So in conclusion, where are you in these wealth phases? Are you progressing wealth, graduating from one phase to another? Or are you stuck in a phase for a long, long time? I know for me, I'm in my early stages of financial independence and I am accelerating that process of earning passive income and fully paying my home loan in the next 2 years so that I can be financially free. Everyone's timeline is different and there is no fixed formula. A lot depends on your life circumstances and lifestyle. So it's important to reflect where you are now, where you want to get to, and how soon. Yeah, so happy journeying along the wealth phases and finally reaching a state of financial abundance, right? So I pass that back the time now to Brenda.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Serene, for sharing so much to us. On to the next topic. Wealth timing and seasons. And so we're asking ourselves, are they in good times or are we in bad times, or how do we navigate moving forward in terms of our timing structure? Now look at the good times and bad times. You see, look at the blue line. The blue line talks about good times. The blue line also talks about bad times. Look at those companies that's burning forth in good times and in bad times. Welcome, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. They are good companies that can survive, that can strive, and also soar in good time as well as bad times. So therefore, whatever challenges that we are facing right now, for a short period of time, there is an opportunity and there is historical data that confirms there are always good companies in good times or even in bad times. Okay, now I want to share with you what are the leakages that we will have in this journey as we build our wealth, right? So one of the major things are called scams. You know, the scams that is happening right now on technology, the total technology scam right now in the global scene is accumulating at 30 billion US dollar. Some of it, for ladies who are listening here, just take note. The romantic scam in social media right now is clocking 200 million US dollar. These are research and data contributed by FBI US. Now, 200 million romantic scams is only related to US economy and US citizens who are lady who have lost their millions to the romantic scam. But what about the global scene? There's no research data that confirm all the global romantic scams that's on the table. But right now, the technology scam that includes romantic scam plus invasion of your identity and use your identity to tap into the company database and telling the creditors so and so forth is amounting to 13 billion US dollar. So therefore, we have to be very, very careful of those leakages. One of the leakages right now, where it's very rampant, is that you are not equipped in case there's any medical conditions. Yes, Malaysia government takes care on COVID, but some of your medical card does not cover COVID and some do. So therefore, which is the right card, which is the wrong medical card, that is something we really need to take special attention. So one leakage would be medical leakages. Second leakages would be wrong investment. Sometimes you're going in some investment at the right time with the wrong objective, with the right asset class. So they're all over the place. So finding the right product for your profile with the right objective at the right time for the right end game is very important. Therefore, you need somebody who can navigate this journey with you. Yeah. So health scam, wrong investment scam, and not health scam, sorry. I'm talking about medical leakages, identity scams or social media scam or technology scam, as well as some of the things that is rampant right now. So look at this particular lady, piano teacher, Macau scam, and so on and so forth. All these has actually leaked out so much wealth from the Malaysian public as well as the region. And now the fastest growing crime in the world is digital scams. You know, all those electronic online scams is mounting so huge that is at the acceleration of this type of scam is bigger than any cartel of cocaine and so on and so forth. So this is reported in some of the documentary on some national TVs. Yeah, you can research and find out what are they. Okay, how does the well-building framework looks like? Today is about 45 minutes of chat. You know, Serene and myself have given you as much as we can, a lot of pointers and handles for you to take on further. So I would like to close this particular session to tell you, well-building framework has few framework for you to refer from. One of them is talking about setting the foundation. This is a 3D or top view from the pyramid. The pyramid is this way up, right? So you're seeing from this level. So the base, if you look at the base of the pyramid, the bottom part is that make sure there is some strategy to cancel off any form of debt, social debt, financial debt, EPF debt, or whatever debt, even property debts, you know, that you have, we can clear those debts. So debt management is a phase. Then you move on to wealth protection. Now, wealth protection talks about what is your responsibility as the woman of the house, as the man of the house. If you are dead, when we are dying or when we are dead, what can we do to ensure our family stays the same lifestyle and having the whatever that is required of them? Living cash is a different story. If we are not dead and we have some critical illness or some major diseases that we cannot afford to work, how do we survive? Do we need to say, hey, mommy, I need this money, or husband, I need this money, wife, I need this money? So how do you sustain if we are not dead, but we are in a critical condition? Those faculty of thinking process is called wealth protection. Then we go next layer. The next layer talking about wealth accumulation. How do you build your wealth onshore and offshore? Now, what is onshore? What is midshore? What is offshore? Onshore means in your nation, your native nation. If you're Malaysia, means onshore means Malaysia. Building a wealth portfolio in Malaysia. You talk about midshore means somewhere out of Malaysia, but it's not too far away. That's called midshore. And of course, you can build your wealth offshore as well. So you don't need to save Ringgit Malaysia as well. You don't need to save Ringgit Malaysia alone. You can actually diversify your wealth building process in different currency, in US dollar, in pound, in Singapore dollar, and so forth, in a platform or structure that is offshore based. Yeah, can be onshore and offshore based. It's a very complex sharing process. So if I have more elaborate further about wealth building process. Now, after having this layer one, debt cancellation, layer two on the pyramid, which is wealth protection, layer three is actually the wealth accumulation. The third one, the highest level, the fourth level that we're talking about will be distribution. How do you distribute your wealth? Do we need a will? If you do not have a will and your estate is more than $2 million, so your distribution of asset, when we pass on, this whole distribution asset will be at the mercy of Malaysian government, because we have a Distribution Act amended 1991 to say if we go off, whatever asset we have, it belongs to this distribution structure or act that is being formed by Malaysia. Yeah. So meaning, if let's say I die without a will, what happens if my mom is alive and my parents is alive and I don't have a will? 50% of my wealth goes to my children, and 25% of that 50% goes to my husband, and 25% of that 50% goes to my parents. So this is may not be my living instruction or my living agenda. However, if I die without will, it follows the Malaysian Distribution Act. So what happens? The matrimony property, it means this property belongs to husband and wife, and the husband suddenly passed on. So if this particular husband do not have a will, the property, 50% of the home that you're staying right now, 50% belongs to your children, and you can't sell for them. They have to turn 18 years old before they can do anything. And then 25% of his share belongs to you. And the 25% of the share belongs to your in-laws. Now, if your in-laws are not around, that 25% of your husband or your late husband. So therefore, this complexity of wealth-building process has a lot of layers. Yeah? Each layer has a lot of complex things. Each layer has a lot of complex technical information that's required for you to solidify and lay it properly. So today's session is about lifestyle, and we would like to bring you through very light and very comfortable and solid and information that will help you in this wealth-building journey. Yeah. So if you have more time, we'll take you further and bring you more technical in understanding what is the fundamental and a step-by-step process in building your wealth building. Okay, without further ado, I just want to take you a little bit further. Once the foundation is all proper, you need to look at your foundation money, then your emergency cash. How much do you need to keep? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? If you don't have enough emergency cash based on such current situation on COVID and so forth, how do you liquidate those cash, and how do you bring cash flow into a company? Is there a peer-to-peer lending? Is there an SME loan? Is there a grant, and so forth? They are available, but that's a different session. Yeah. Then on top of that, not forgetting, you need to build your serious money. Now, serious money, business may not be part of the serious money because there's no ready buyer, no ready seller, no fair price. So therefore, no buyer, no seller, no fair price. Even though we pass on, it will become business venture money, but never enter into serious money. Why? Because your valuation of a company, the moment the day you died, the money, the valuation of the company should be locked on the day you die. But however, because many of the SME business owner or business owner like yourself may not understand how to lock this business value. So therefore, one day we died, the value may be 1 million, but the 3 months down the road, after we pass on, the valuation of a company can drop from 1 million to 10,000. Now, if your loved one do not know how to steward the company, that company that is maybe 1,000 or 100,000 can even go further from 100,000 become zero. Worst scenario, you will carry the debt of the company where else the other shareholders has gone elsewhere, and you're holding on to an asset that is full of debt. So you think that you have a real asset, but actually is not a real asset. It could be a debt that could be a burden that you have to carry moving forward, you know. So therefore, a wealth-building process is quite a complex process. So I just want to give you pointers. This session is not about going deep, but it's giving you some pointers to be careful and to be well aware of those areas. Now, the next one is about play money. Now, play money is about speculation of money. How is the stock market doing today? How is the dividend being paid by the blue chips? Do we go into cryptocurrency? Do we go into forex option and so forth? Now, play money should not be more than 10% of the total wealth, because play money, as you said, you know, as we say, play. You can win today, you can lose today as well. So play money is a sector that can make good money, but making good money does not necessarily mean you can sustain and hold this money for long term. So therefore, every wealth-building process is a very detailed process, and it has to be customized and taking it to a further level. Yeah. So without further ado, I have come to the end of my session. It's already 45 minutes. If you have any questions, you can always ask both of us. which is Serene and myself. So our contact number is over there, our email is over there, and there's website for you to study further. Thank you for spending 45 minutes with us. I hope that you've enjoyed every minute, every second with us. And before we close, let me ask Serene, is there anything you want to add on to our sharing today?
I wanted to thank Women Business Channel, in joint collaboration, of course, with E3 Hubs, right, for engaging us for this 45 minutes talk. All right, we are truly privileged, to be part of this this event. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. So goodbye. If you have got, we are moving to the next session. We are live right now with you. If you have any question, you can always ask us. We are live in the session now. This session is pre-recorded. Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for having us for the last 45 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
building phases. For those stages that, what if today I am an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner myself, does that equals to me? Can I actually use the same formula?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So in fact, our wealth building stages is generic across all women, or all people for that matter. Yeah, because those are actually all the fundamentals. And what we endeavor to do is to teach fundamentals. So whether you are a homemaker, a student, an entrepreneur, or whatever stages in your life is, the most important thing is to know which phase you are in and what station in life you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And of course, we spoke about the personalities of women. All right. Different personality means that there are different approaches. So that it's also important to take into account what are your risk appetites, personalities, and all of that in wealth building. Be true to yourself, basically.
Okay. So as you know, as a woman, as a homemaker, if for those of you, if you're even a wife or if you're a mother or even a business owner as well, I think there are a lot of things to take in consideration in terms of preparing, planning for your family wealth and of course your personal wealth as well. Now, I've seen that there's some technical issues, but I think it's all solved now. Thank you so much, guys, for your feedback. I hope that we managed to hear what Serene has actually told us. And for Brenda, you spoke about wealth accumulation with the 3D pyramid. Early on, I saw that 3D pyramid. So when you talk about the 3D pyramid, I'm actually very much interested when you mentioned about distribution. Is there a clear-cut rule that how much should we actually allocate for each person? Is there a clear-cut rule on that?
Oh, well, there isn't any for us. It's very personal. For example, there are people who can will 100% to their dogs, the richest animal in the world is actually a New Yorker pet. One billionaire just built everything to the pet. So can you imagine that the luxuries the pet will enjoy in the New York City? So therefore, there's no personal modeling that is on personal level. But however, Malaysian government has a Distribution Act amended 1991 that if we do not have a will, the government actually proposed or already set in rules, these are the modeling that we are supposed to distribute. Let's say, for example, if a person died, if without a will, 50% of the wealth of that particular person goes to the children. The other 25% goes to the living spouse as alive, and the other 25% goes to the parents, the deceased parents. Now, the challenge would be this: if this property is owned by two person, which is husband and wife, and then when the husband passed on, the whole house, I would say, the whole house, 50% of that house belongs to the man, right? The husband who passed away. So that particular house, 25% of it belongs to the in-laws. So if the in-laws say, I love my son, I don't want to sell the house, the widow will have no choice but cannot sell the house. So therefore, this distribution by allocation is already sanctioned by Malaysian government under Distribution Act 1991. So if we do not have a will, the government proposed or already sanctioned by law, this is the modeling and this is the will that you have followed Malaysian government. So that's what it means. Yeah.
Oh.
So for example, just now you asked me about three triangle, right? The triangle, phase one, phase two, phase three. So I would say the base is called the passport to build wealth. If we do not understand what is our womanhood that represents, have to be, we are woman as a mother to a home, wife to the husband. We're also daughter to our mother and parents and in-laws, right? We are also, don't forget, we are also a mom to the kids. Okay, or even community leader. You add all those things together, that's the full womanhood. And this womanhood need to be calculated upon. That is upon the whole, on one of our shoulders, only one. What about the living cash if the husband does not, be with us throughout the whole years, So we are left unattended, whether by death or by divorce or by anything. So how do we take care of ourselves on a living cash level, we still need to pay for the house, we have to raise the kids and so on and so forth. So in a woman perspective, how do you calculate the womanhood in totality, the foundation of that particular wealth protection? So this wealth protection or preserving the cash or activating the cash for longer terms, this particular thing in the simple English, I would call it the passport to build wealth. Without the base, you can't, even you build a lot of wealth, you can rise. Like for me, I came to this industry because I built good wealth. But when my moms were diagnosed with cancer, I was selling one property, second property, car. Thank God I have houses to sell, and I got gold to pawn. But what about other people who do not have? That will be, the tears, you have to cry it out and then you have to suck it in and cry it out again. Until today, of 20 plus years, I still have not thrown this pillow in my home. I intentionally keep this 20 plus year old pillow is because every week when I change my bed sheet, I remember these are the patches of tears I have. This is when I have to force sell this house. This patch is when I have to pawn the gold, the wedding gold. Chinese have this 2-3 inches kind of gold, right? I didn't get to wear. I only wear it 2 times. I think 1.5 times. Wear it for fun. Wear it to show off during the Chinese dinner, and that's it. Gone to the what do you call it? The pawn shop. And I don't remember. In those days, I forgot about taking pictures of those wedding jewelry. So it's all gone to the pawn. So those patches of tears is a good reminder for me every week when I change the bed sheet. So I remember, okay, the passion in this industry is about the tears I've dropped, and I hope that other people will not have to go through what I've gone through. Yeah.
So ladies, if you're watching this, take this as a reminder, okay? Because things are unexpected. We can't really know what will happen in the future.
So I remember, okay,
but Brenda,
the passion
you
in this
spoke about a very
industry
interesting thing. You gave the analysis about the house. If the husband is not around anymore, you have to sell the house. What if the house is not fully paid? If there is still outstanding loan, does this falls upon the wife's shoulder to pay off if this is under a joint loan?
Well, depending how they plan it. If let's say the husband has a MRTA, mortgage reduction planning, so when the person passed on, there will be a chunk of money to pay off the bank. Now, if let's say the person owes 500,000 and the bank loan now is 300,000, so the bank will take whatever left over, whatever is required by the bank, the leftover will be given to the widow or widower that's alive. Yeah, so if they do have a debt cancellation plan, that will be good. But again, as a financial advisor, I will not recommend an RTA to a certain level. Reason, of course, it will be good for some people, but it's not good for everybody. You see why? If you go to banking, you can say, wow, nice aircon, right? Beautiful interior, and a pretty girl, pretty good handsome man coming to serve us, right? How much do they earn from our interest? And the average property we pay, let's say it's 500,000, the loan or the asset, right? By the time you pay off the house, is minimum 3 times, 1.5 million goes to them. So that's why there's a lot of interest being charged for property level. So therefore, I would suggest if you can have a personal debt cancellation plan where today you want to buy a property in Puchong, tomorrow you want to buy one in London, then next time you want to buy a vineyard in Australia. So you have a global debt cancellation card for yourself, and whichever you want to buy happy shopping, not necessarily handbag. You can buy buildings, you can buy auction property, right? You should have an independent debt cancellation card. And some of my clients, I plan them for global debt cancellation. It can be in one currency, and you can use it for London property, Australia property, or anything like that. So this global debt cancellation card, it must be customized for the person. It could be a concoction item, some MRTA, some certain part of thing, and you concoctionize together, it becomes a debt cancellation. So it's a very technical skill. It's not just get this particular MRTI, you're settled. No, I won't do so, because the leakage of interest. If you look at if this is the loan, right? This is the MRTA interest. Can you see my mouse? This is the loan, 500,000, the MRTA on the loan. So you go compound. You look at my mouse, it's going higher and higher, right? So you see this interest that if I can mechanically calculate for you, this MRTA interest on top of the loan, you can actually have calculated many, many times to different people. You could have actually bought another 3 more properties. 3 more properties. And if these 3 more properties, you are able to buy one property and serve the others, it will be so much better in serving the poor.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Brenda, for explaining that. So there is one question currently from Keith. So Keith is actually asking, is there a standard template of assessing which phase you are in? Maybe Serene, would you like to answer this?
A standard template? You mean in the financial building phase, right? The one on abundance, independence, and so on and so forth. Well, the chart just now that you saw, I don't know whether you get a snapshot of it, but it basically gives you a very simple principle, all right, that if you are in certain phases such as, let's say, financial independence, say for example, just take note that your expenses of the month is totally catered for, let's say, by your passive income. That is what we mean by financial independence. But you're not free yet, because you still have debts. All right. So then financial freedom is when you have passive income without debts. Yeah. So these are just the clear, very, very simple indicators. And we try not to get too complicated with this, because we also know that when we talk about financials, right, people are quite fearful to talk about it. They think that it is very, very difficult, but actually it's not. When we learn these basics of what financial freedom means, financial independence, and so on and so forth, the most important thing is probably to get in touch with someone who is more well-versed, right, like your financial advisors and all of that, to go through what are some of the things that you can do to get to each stage. All right. So don't think of financial advisors just as insurance people, just as insurance agent. That is also something that could have hindered a lot of people from seeking financial advice. Financial advisors are meant to look at your holistic wealth. So they will tell you what it means for you to be financially independent and to move on to financial freedom, say, for example.
Well said. You know what? I hope that answered your question, Keith. For those of you here, if you have any more questions, maybe we'll just take one last question from the floor. So you can leave it at the Q&A session there, or you can actually put it at the chat box. I'll be able to ask them to Serene. If not, guys, we will end this session for both ladies, Brenda and Serene, building wealth in challenging times. I think we pretty much enjoyed today's session here talking about wealth, because it's not just your income. It's just not money that's floating around in your bank. It's also the different approach to it as well. Yes, Keith answered. Thank you so much, Serene. All right, I hope that helps you a lot, Keith. So I hope that this session here today, it gives us another insight, another explanation of what wealth means to us and how we can go forth with it. Now, if you need further explanation, if you need further advice, please feel free to reach out to Brenda or Serene. Okay, we will actually let you guys know their booth, and you guys can actually reach out to both Brenda and Serene. They will be here participating in one of the exhibitors' booths as well. So go ahead and look for them if you need further advice. Once again, thank you so much to Brenda and to Serene. I think we have all enjoyed your session. Hope to see you guys again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.